Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial. Would you please take a moment and silence your cell phones? Where is Diane Zing? Who wants to do an impromptu inspirational message?
Here, Diana.
Diana Why is going to jump in.
Good morning, everyone. I would ask that you just take a moment. This is going to be a little bit different from the normal inspiration. Just take a moment just to quiet yourself. I would ask that you take a couple of nice deep breaths. Just breathe in, breathe out, and then repeat after me. I am so blessed.
So blessed.
I am so blessed.
So blessed.
I am so grateful for all that I have.
I'm so grateful for all that I have.
Thank you, God. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for doing that. Is Jay Zing here? Wow, we're going to have to do the pledge on our own. Where's our flag, Paul? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is Yenny Palma here? And we are just striking out. Ken Ostegard, do you want to do an impromptu Rotary Minute?
Yeah. No, they are. Well, as usual, I think of these things when I'm out doing arduous tasks like fertilizing my lawn like I did this Saturday. Then, of course, comes to Tuesday morning, and I forget what I thought about on Saturday. So I'll always fall back on, hey, it's time for kids to apply for RILA. So the application process is going on at this point in time for young RILA and for what's known as regular RILA or senior RILA or just RILA. For those of you that are not aware, RILA stands for Rotary Youth Leadership Award. It is our leadership camp that we sponsor every summer. It's districts 5450 and 5440, and there are about 300 to 500 kids, about 300 kids in the young RILA camps, 500 kids for the senior RILA camps up at Estes Park. And we're looking for juniors and sophomores for the regular RILA. Those are the kids that go to Estes Park. And we are looking for 7th graders for the young RILA camp, and that's at the Ponderosa Retreat down in Larkspur. So if you know of someone that age that you think would benefit from the leadership skills that they learn, and most of you have heard our previous students come and talk to us, and you know how much they get out of this, please, please, please have them go to www.rmryla.org. That is the website. They'll get all the information that they need on the camps, plus the application is there. Are there any questions? Okay, there's your Rotary Minute.
Great, thanks, Ken. Mr. Horiuchi, Dr. Paul, thank you so much for setting up today, and I have Eric as being the takedown. I saw his lovely bride-to-be walk in the door, but I haven't seen Eric yet. Ann West was our greeter. Thanks, Ann, very much, much appreciated. And then Diana White, thank you for that impromptu inspiration, and great job on the pledge, everyone. We have several guests today. If I missed anybody coming in, please let me know. But Kevin Skeens is here from the Children's Foundation, Casa Hogar. Kevin, stand up, wave, say hi. And then a guest of Roxy Hahn, Holly Johnson is here. Where's Holly at? Holly back in the back there. And then Maria Pearson is here, a guest of Ken Hope.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and did I miss anybody? Do we have any other guests? All righty. No birthdays this week, amazingly enough, but one wedding anniversary, Vern and Barbara Hansen on March 28th, but I don't see Vern, so hopefully he's out getting that anniversary gift as we speak. A couple of announcements. It's time to start thinking about Bring a Friend to Rotary. We're going to do the next event on April 24th. We have a very compelling speaker that day, Cindy Ray Lutz. She lost a child to the opioid crisis. I have not heard her speak, but I think, Dave, you have. And I guess she's very, very compelling speaker. So great time to bring friends to and introduce them to Rotary and what we're all about. Mary Alice, jump up and tell us what you need to tell us.
What I need to tell you is that we have a special event at Primetimers that we'd like to invite anybody here or their spouse that would like to attend. On the 17th of April, we are taking a bus to the Denver Museum of Art, and we are going down to see the Degas exhibit. And so if anybody would like to go, I kind of need to know by noon today or shortly thereafter. I have to firm up our reservations, and we have a few spots left. So if anybody wants to join us for that, we'd love to have you.
Mary Alice, do you want to have Karen send out an email, or do you want to send out an email to everybody?
I could do that.
Okay, may not be a bad idea. All right. I saw Catherine Henshin. Is she in here, or is she grabbing breakfast? All right, we will come back to her. Hannah Pavlik, you are up. So you guys, if you haven't met her, Hannah is one of our millennials. And she came here today to talk a little bit about Rally for Kids for CASA. So Hannah, jump on up, and if you want to come up here so people can see you, feel free.
Stay with the camera.
Right, stand there so you get on video.
Hello, I'm Hannah. I'm part of the Millennial group, and I'm just here to give a little pitch for Rally for Kids. It's a free luncheon, and it's sponsored by CASA. It's just to raise awareness about childhood abuse and neglect. Myself and Audra Walker, another millennial, are table captains, so we need to recruit 10 people to come. So we both need a few seats to fill. So if you want to either come to my table or Audra's, we'd love to have you. It is Friday, April 13th from noon until 1, so just 1 hour, and it's free lunch.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Where? Good to have you.
Where? Yeah. Hannah.
Oh,
where?
It's at the Marriott in the Denver Tech Center.
Okay, great, thank you. And we're going to get that information out to you. We'll send it out. Karen and I are sponsoring a table, and we've got our table filled. It's really an outstanding event. Kids who have been helped by CASA, several of them will be speakers at the event, and you get to learn a little bit more about what CASA does. It's a very, very good event and very heartwarming as well. David Livingston, where are you hiding?
John, thank you. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department and Centennial Rotary are co-sponsoring a medication take-back on the morning of Saturday, May 19th, a 2-hour block from 9 to 11. It is a part of a neighborhood cleanup spring start for a small community within the Homestead area, but we have invited already more than 1,200 families to be a part of this that morning. So they've already gone out in newsletters. What I'd like is just a couple more Rotary volunteers, and this is not an educational, this is not making speeches, this is showing the flag. So we'll have the banner, we'll have ourselves there set up with Dave's department. May 19th, Saturday morning, 9 to 11. And if you have a couple of hours that you'd like to spend in the Homestead neighborhood, please let me know after the meeting. What we're talking about is the square mile between Arapahoe and Dry Creek, Quebec, and Holly. So lots of families.
Great. Thank you very much. Where physically will it be?
It will be at the clubhouse, the pool clubhouse for Village 2. I will bring you the address or get Karen to send the address out.
This is the first of many announcements. We're going to have quite a few reminders over the next few weeks until the events. Oh, okay. Good. We will do that. Catherine Henshin. Hi. We want to hear the exciting news about State of the City.
So, after a furious last week, we are well above $40,000 this year, the first time we've ever done that. So, new sponsors, old sponsors, bunch of tables. A huge shout out for John McCurdy, who is herding the 300, 400 plus attendees and where they're going to sit. So if you don't like your seat, blame him. I'm just kidding. But just want to thank everybody like on our team, and although there's last minute details, so we do have a little bit of distance to go. 2 Rotarians who stepped up for Kevin and Diane bought tables for their businesses, so that's awesome too. It's good to have that. And the Sheriff's Department, I never forget about you guys. So State of the City Day, Karen sent out yesterday, and it's got the list of volunteers. And so if you can't volunteer, I need to know by end of business tomorrow, but otherwise we're going to count you here for the time slot that's there. It also, I sent out the list of people who have signed up to attend the luncheon. This is critical because we have to give numbers to the hotel here pretty quick. So if you're not on the list by end of business tomorrow, you're not, we don't have you. So make sure that if you want to attend the list, that the luncheon, that you're on that list by end of business tomorrow, because we have to get those numbers in. Just my sincere gratitude for the team and just the excitement. I think my favorite quote from being on Foundation about what we do is that Andres, when we were approving a grant, said that there's people around the world who we've never met, who know nothing about us, who, because of our efforts, their lives are about to change, and that's what State of the City represents. So I'm just super excited for what Tim is going to get to do with all of that money.
We're sold out. No more black tie.
Oh yeah, we are totally, first time ever, we're totally sold out. And so no more black tie, no more sponsors. We do have room for Rotarians who'll be hanging out here, but we are 100% sold out. So
let's give a big round of applause to the State of our City Committee. They have absolutely worked their butts off on this deal and have done an outstanding job. Cheryl Sartain, tell us about our meeting next week.
We are meeting at the Freedom Service Dogs location, and the address, if you want to write it down now, we will be sending it out, is at 7193 South Dillon Court. It is over there by the Bronco facilities, and we will be meeting there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we will have breakfast provided by a number of people who have volunteered to go pick up different things.
Face that way.
Oh, I'm to face this way. Okay. So we will be sending out that address to you later. But Freedom Service Dogs next Tuesday morning.
And Cheryl, what can we expect to learn at Freedom Service Dogs?
We're going to be learning about the dogs that they are taking in, rescue dogs, and they're trying to get these dogs to behave and work with our veterans and people with needs that need help, either physically getting out of bed, picking up credit cards, picking up coins off the ground, helping with various stressors that an individual may actually have. And then we're going to be having a whole tour of their facilities, and they have a brand new facility here in Centennial.
Good. Would they be willing to work with Rotarians who have a hard time behaving?
wait, come on.
I'll put John's application
I
in,
didn't
right?
specifically point you out, but the guilt factor appears to be there, so.
I'll put in your application, John.
Great, thank you. Karen would suggest that I need it very much. Roxy, let's talk about all the cool stuff that you're getting ready to collect today that's scattered around.
Well, you all met. I believe Holly was introduced. Do you want to stand up, Holly? And if you have your microphone, why don't you tell us a little bit about your trip to Nepal and the things that you requested. And we have a pile over here for you of the items you requested for your trip.
Okay. Hi, I'm Holly Johnson, and just grateful to be here today. I was connected to Roxy through CASA. I'm a CASA. And I'm also by profession a producer, and I'm headed over to Nepal in about 3 days to go film an orphanage in Kathmandu. They have about 57 kids there, and we'll be filming everything from what it's like to be an orphan to also profiling some girls that we raised money for last year that are in college now, who were orphans, so it's pretty cool. I did a video last year in July, and it got sent out and raised about $28,000 in 2 weeks. So I felt a little encouraged to go over there now and produce the actual stories of these girls that are in college, as well as the younger ones that are up and coming and going to college. Part of my focus is the girls' plight. Women are quite oppressed over in Nepal, doing a lot of the labor. There's a lot of severe poverty, but I'm really privileged to have this opportunity through a friend of mine who has been going over there and supporting this orphanage for 13 years. So I haven't never been to Nepal, but I'm going, and we're going to actually capture some of what life is like over there and put together some amazing videos that hopefully will inspire others to contribute and participate in this cause. I'm just grateful for Rotary because you all have come alongside and made some donations. I put out a request probably, 2 weeks ago maybe through CASA that I'm going to be doing this. We were asking for basketballs, soccer balls, socks, clothes, jump ropes, just an assortment of things. Frankly, anything will be used that I take over there. So I'm just thrilled that this came about in such a timely manner. And I will be delivering these things and probably snapping a few pictures I can share with you afterwards of the kids receiving the gifts. So I'm grateful and thankful to Rotary. And yeah, that's the story.
Great. Awesome.
Thank you, Holly. And thank you all to everyone who brought the items.
And there may still be some things scattered around here, so we'll make sure we get them in this stack back here. And Holly, I'd like to invite you back to be a speaker at our club. Once you get your video together, or pictures or whatever, so you can share the story in a little bit more depth. So please come back. Does anyone else have any announcements that I didn't talk to? No. Mr. Hope, would you just off the cuff want to talk about what you guys did on Sunday?
I'll let Tim talk about it. Got a mic there, Tim? It's at his place, so I'll let Tim talk about it.
All
right. Sunday, we all got together, scratched our heads quite a bit, and tried to put together our sand biofilter mold. We almost got it done. We started at about 9 o'clock, and that was by running the first sheet of plywood through my printer. So we actually printed the pattern on the plywood. Ken spent a lot of time cutting out the parts, as you can see right there. And then we had the ominous job of trying to understand the instructions and put it all together. We did manage to make it look pretty much like it's supposed to at the end. We found a couple small problems, but we're probably going to fill it with concrete on Saturday
Okay.
And so we should have a working model here fairly soon.
Great. Thanks, you guys. So if you remember, we talked last week a little bit about some of the projects that we have approved in the club, and one of them is building this prototype of this sand water filter with the idea of Dr. Mark going down to Puerto Rico and assembling quite a few of these down there for areas that really didn't have very good water supplies before the hurricane, and it's even worse post-hurricane down there. So looks like these guys had a lot of fun. Obviously, they know how handy I'm not, which is why I wasn't there on Sunday.
Hold your hands up. We got our fingers.
Yeah, nobody cut any fingers off, so they did a really, really good job. So, do we have Samantha? What? Sure, grab a mic.
So I want to do a huge shout out to Vern and Karen Fleck and Kevin and Jeannie Henshaw, and then a co-worker of mine, Abigail, came out Saturday to do our food drive. We had $83 collected, and then we had 5 whole big carts full of food that came, and it was highly successful. So thank you, everyone. I can't see everyone, but just thank you so much for your continued support in that. I know IFCS really appreciates it.
Great, thank you. The food drive is really one of the easiest service projects we do. It takes about an hour. You get in, you get out, you meet a lot of people, and it's always amazing because invariably somebody comes out with a full basket of food and goes, here, and you go, well, which stuff? Well, the whole basket. I mean, there's a lot of generosity. So great job, everybody. Mr. Pye, do you?
I'm not Happy Bucks. I'm just preparing myself.
Oh, you're preparing for Happy Bucks. Well, first we're going to
prepare themselves now before I get up.
That's right. That's right.
Pull at least $1 out.
So we're real close. So next, any travel gifts? Mr. Peterson.
Yes, chat group number 1, meeting for the second time, has brought a chat travel gift from the Resolute Brewing Company for coasters for John McCarty.
Well used, I assume?
Absolutely.
Absolutely well used. Any other travel gifts? Mr. Pye, you are up.
All right. Everybody reaching for their wallets? There are people over here just sitting. What is the problem?
We're not with you guys.
Thank you.
We're not with you guys.
I'm coming to you momentarily. I'm coming. I'm coming. All right, Mr. Ernest, let's start with you.
I just have $1. And I was just refilling my coffee, saw the fairly large stack of stuff to send to Nepal, and just great to see the club's participation.
Perfect. Thank you. Roxy, usually you wait till the end to do you. I don't know why, but we're going to start over here.
Okay. I'm not giving all 5 today. I know, but I don't have that much happiness today. Okay. But you'll recoup it by the end, I'm sure. You know, I want to again thank all of those. I know Randy and Samantha and Catherine and your wife Karen and Kevin. Kevin was really generous. He gave me a whole lot of money to spend last night to get things for the Nepal orphanage. So anyway, and Paul Horiuchi. Anyway, if I've missed anyone, I'm sorry, but it was really great of you guys to step up and participate. And the other one is it's Tuesday. I'm at Rotary, and that's a happy day.
That sounded like 5.
Looks like it's 6.
6? Yeah, could you get another $1 out? That's a good one, isn't it? I'll be back to you. And you need an IOU. Okay, we got a number of IOUs going here. Jeez. Do we have any more IOU packets? That's it? Start writing on napkins.
Just keep track of it in your head.
I just have one happy buck, and it's for my Kansas Jayhawks Final Four.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh.
Well, I have 2. One is because I can't remember if I said thank you to Jeannie Henshaw for food drive. If not, thank you.
You did. I think you
Okay.
pronounced it hen shot.
Well,
It's hen shin, but that's okay. Not to embarrass you at all.
it's still a early morning and my coffee is working. And this week or last week, I started learning a new language. It's a tribal language called Twi, and it's because my boyfriend is from Ghana, and it's a surprise for when he gets back. So it's fun, and I'm excited.
Quick favor to ask you guys that do IOUs, write on there if it's for Happy Bucks or Blue Marble, since I'm the one that has to deposit the money. They go in different places, so thanks.
As mayor, when I used to speak and people didn't understand me, I often said this is a tribal language. So I appreciate your thought there. A happy buck, Mr. Gale.
I just have a happy buck. Mega Millions is up to $458 million.
And Randy, I forgot to mention Karen Fleck and Patrick.
You're up to 7 now. Do you need an IOU? All right. Ann? God, these things are terrible.
Come back.
Okay. All right, I'll come back. Yes, ma'am.
I have one. Did you guys see how beautiful it was out this morning on your drive here? I came through Greenwood Village, the residential part. It was stunning. Makes me happy.
If anyone saw Topgolf this morning, all the snow had blown up against the fence. You can see how massive those fences are, because usually you see through it, and they are really massive. Colonel.
Just one regret buck for me, because I missed last week's meeting. My family's in town, and so unfortunately I couldn't make it to the meeting, but here you go.
Yeah, you're a millennial. We know you got to have it for pizza and stuff like that. That's all right.
I don't have any.
Just happy to be here and happy to start my day with positive people.
We'll get to them in a minute. Paul.
Yes, here's an opportunity to say Happy Easter to everybody. And second one is it's good to see Maria Pearson again. I
need more.
couldn't find it.
Okay. No problem. All right, those of you that want IOU bucks, now's the time to step up, because we don't have any more. You can just promise us. Hi there.
I'll do an IOU. So I'm happy because we did have our second chat group meeting, and I will tell you, this club is amazing, but what is an absolute joy is getting to know people outside of these meetings, even though the meetings are great. So it's been really special to get to know Eric and Catherine more and Kevin and John. I can't see you. So anyway, that's my happy buck that I was forced to do.
How many people did you mention? It's about 6. As long as you're doing an IOU, just make it a say. That's right.
Yeah, I got $5 for. I'm just so happy to be retired when I wake up mornings like this, and know that I don't have to go to work. So anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody.
I'll be back to you. Nothing. Charlie? No? Mary Alice will go this way, and I can't make it, so you guys just have to pass it around.
I thought you'd like that.
Thank you.
My dollar is for all those of you who thought I was nuts last week thinking K-State could beat Kentucky. And even though they're out now, I want you to be sure and remind Dan Ruparel of that game in case you see him.
I have 2. It's always nice to see Maria Pearson. For those newer people, she was with Interfaith, now Integrated, for a long time, and she's been was a partner with Rotary for a long time. My second dollar is to the group on Saturday. Tim, Mark Garfinkel, Joe, John, and Eric were there, and we all met.
I'm keeping count.
Well, go ahead. Fine.
How many
If that's
dollars
what you
do
want to do.
have?
2?
2. Stop. You got more than 2.
We got a mic back here?
Okay, I have 5. And since Ken already mentioned all the names, I'm not going to get those counted against me. So I'll just say thank you for having 5 fingers left over after we were doing all that with the power tools.
It's Tuesday, and this is Rotary.
I was hoping for a longer one than that. Jeez.
I'll go.
All right, we're going to start. No, Catherine.
gonna go
Yeah, we're going to start here. John.
$1 for chat group number 1's second meeting. It was wonderful with Catherine and Eric and Jessica, John, and Kevin.
7. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Anybody that's looking down, I know it's not.
Body language.
Yeah, really.
I have $2 this morning. One is I'm just happy to be a member of this club. And the second is I'm happy because I'm finally, after a mere 2 months, going to get new flooring put in my kitchen and entryway tomorrow.
Should be more than. Of course, now we know where your bucks are going, so you're hanging out. Okay. I like it. This is looking good. This is looking very good.
So I have 5. One that I got invited to the Cool Kids chat group. It's like the little, freshmen that got invited up to the senior table, so that was fun. Mainly, and I didn't mean to look at John Peterson when I just said senior group. Number 2, again, just couldn't be happier for State of the City and what it means for all of us. And just a huge shout out to the team. The one person that isn't here and you haven't seen her since tax season started, but is so critical to everything that we do in the midst of trying to get everybody's taxes out. Barb is our go-to for invoices and AR and all of that. So she's kind of that secret person here that does so much for us behind the scenes. So when she finally gets to breathe and pops her head up after tax season, just huge kudos to her. So, and last, I am so grateful for the snow, even though it's March. It's just nice to have some moisture in the air and look forward to green golf courses.
So I was having breakfast with the mayor yesterday, and she is so appreciative to the club and for the ability to be flexible this year. She wants a clean break from the way we've done it in the past, and it is a definite break from the way we've done it in the past. She's really appreciative to your work on that.
Yeah, my happy buck today is I get to go watch my daughter compete in her league track meet tomorrow. And she's one of the top middle school shot putters in Northeast Georgia, so hopefully she goes home a winner.
Congratulations. Here. Okay. Good.
My happy buck, I was just happy to meet Holly this morning and looking forward to seeing pictures and the film from her trip when she comes back in.
Perfect. Really, Holly, cool.
Hi. Here's my contribution. Just really liking this environment in here, and just everybody's a team player and supporting great causes. So I'm happy to do that too. Thank you.
You ought to come back when we have our real room. Yes, sir.
I'm happy in advance of our program today. I've been looking forward to hearing about the Manzanillo trip.
I'm so happy that I'm here today, and what a fantastic group of people.
That was one. You have 2 out. You've got a chance.
That's for the group of people. Fantastic.
All right. Did I miss anybody?
Just me.
I'm coming to you. Okay. Those of you that gave me big money, I may get it back to you later. I have some money now. Mr. Barry. Oh, yes.
Is anyone who wanted to say something because didn't have money supposed to give you some of our change?
I don't think so. Let me get Ann. Ann. Oh, that's right. You had the 20.
We'll call it 3. 3, yeah. We went skiing on Saturday, and the snow is terrific. The weather was terrific. My knee wasn't, but that's all right. My husband had fun. And then on last Wednesday, we had a chat group in Hodson's, and I recommend that place because they're not terribly busy. There's plenty of space in the wine room, and it's quiet. And if you've ever been someplace that's noisy and you can't hear the person next to you, you'll appreciate that. And I will second what Karen said about the beauty this morning. I know it won't last, but please, what am I saying? Anyway, I definitely appreciate the new snow as long as the power lines don't come down.
Excel's my client. It won't come down.
Right. And my happy buck was for the State of the City Committee. Awesome job, you guys. Another round of applause. They did a phenomenal job. So with that, you've got a little extra time, Cheryl. Cheryl and Roxy, are you jumping up there too? We're going to talk about our trip to Manzanillo.
I'm coming back to you. Maybe not today, but I'm coming back to you. Just barely, John.
It is a true privilege to be a representative of this club and to have represented you in our endeavors down in Manzanillo, Mexico. Buenos dias. We had a wonderful opportunity to go down to work in Mexico. Mexico is made up of a number of different states, and Roxy and I flew in a few days early, and we flew into Mexico City, which is approximately 340 miles due east of the state of Colima. And Colima is where Manzanillo, Mexico is located. It is actually, if you were to drive it, it's 470 miles. However, there are no real freeways there, and there is a speed bump, it seems, every single mile. And so you are inhibited in driving at any top speed more than about 35 to 40 miles an hour. And it will take you 15 hours to drive that 470 miles from Mexico City to Manzanillo. Manzanillo occupies about 47 square miles. It was conceived back in the 1800s, 1873, and it is the primary port city for the entire country of Mexico. We stayed out here right on the point at the marina, and our hotel room looked due east, and this is the sunrise that we were greeted with every single morning that came up over the volcanic mountains to the east. And that is the port area that we had the opportunity to enjoy every morning. There are approximately 158,000 people that live in the city of Manzanillo, and we were very privileged to go and work at Casa Hogar, which stands for orphanage, and let's see here, and Los Angelitos, which stands for the Little Angels. The countryside is primarily bananas, coconuts, papaya trees, and mango groves. We went on a tour of the countryside, Roxy and I did, and we tasted some of the fruit, which is called the jackfruit up there. We had some unique experiences with tasting some of the different fruit that none of us have ever really seen before. Casa Hogar was begun by Nancy Nystrom. What happened in 1994 is her son, Freddie, passed away unexpectedly. And subsequent to his death, she felt called to feed my children. And she and her husband David had a place in Manzanillo, but their eyes had really never been opened to the fact that there were street children that were living out of the garbage dumps in the city of Manzanillo, that there were children being prostituted at the port to sailors, to tourists coming in, and they were living this terrible life. And after she felt called to feed my children, what happened is she all of a sudden realized, I need to do something about this, and she started out feeding the children for 2 years out of a storefront called the Commodore. And this Commodore, every day she would present or prepare a meal for these children. And as she started working with these kids, she felt called that perhaps she needed to begin an orphanage. Her first 2 children that struck her to the core were Arturo and Benjamin. Arturo and his brother were found, the first time she saw them other than in the Commodore was dumpster diving one night at midnight. She was coming home from a restaurant when I noticed 2 raggedy little boys jumping into a dumpster, a large trash container, each with a large bag. Looked like it was half full of something. I thought I recognized the boys, then I realized who they were. It was little brothers, Arturo and Benjamin, who had been coming to the Commodore each day. The next day at the Commodore, I watched Arturo and Benjamin run across the street in their bare, torn shirts flapping open and faces still grimy from the dirt and filth that they lived in, yet their smiles were bright with anticipation. They were running to eat. Arturo must have been about 9 years old and Benjamin 7. That afternoon, after all the children had finished eating, I took the boys to their home, a 10 by 12 foot lean-to hovel that looked more like a stick fence braced against a wall. There were 5 more younger children and siblings at that time, a drunken father and a pregnant stepmother living in this wretched shelter. The night we saw them crawling into the commercial trash bin was typical of every night. At dark, their father would send them out, each with a sack, to go rummaging through the garbage bins throughout the community, behind stores and along the streets, looking for aluminum cans and edible food. If their sacks weren't full enough, they would be beaten and sent back to the streets. Children like Arturo and Benjamin are called pordioseros, beggars, the worst kind, those running through the garbage just to survive. Arturo's ears were quite big and extended, and I saw that they had a number of scars on his face. He and his brother were mistreated brutally, being slammed in the head with a hot iron by their stepmother. Arturo began having epileptic seizures, falling and hurting himself, breaking his nose more and more frequently. His epilepsy was getting worse. It was the sweet grins and the little faces of Arturo and Benjamin with their big ears that gave me the energy and inspiration to keep working towards the goal of opening the doors of Casa Hogar. Today, Arturo is 32 years of age. His epilepsy has intensified. He lives at the orphanage and does odd jobs. He rides to and from the elementary schools to ensure that the children arrive safely and they are not snatched going in or out of the school. Each month he receives a small stipend that he uses to purchase a bus ticket to take the long ride to Colima. That is the only city where he can purchase his epileptic medication. 5 years ago, Benjamin, his brother, was diagnosed with kidney failure, and the orphanage, Casa Hogar, made a special room with air conditioning for him until he passed away last year in April. These are 2 of the brothers that are part of the legacy at Casa Hogar. Up in the top right-hand corner is the girls' dormitory in the main facility, and this is a picture of the bunk beds that the children have. So the project came together. It started out by our contacting the Children's Foundation in Loveland, saying, what can we possibly do in terms of our contributing in a physical way with manual help. And Melanie, who is up in the Loveland facilities, put us in touch with the Rotary Club of Westerville, Ohio. And what they did is Westerville Rotary Club had taken down a playground in their town behind their municipal building and had sent that to Kids Around the World. Kids Around the World constructs 120 playgrounds in war-torn, poverty-stricken countries. And so the Rotary Club of Westerville wanted to donate this playground to Casa Hogar, Los Angelitos. And so they raised the $18,000 to have this playground refurbished by Kids Around the World and have it shipped down to Casa Hogar. The playground that they took down was massive. It was probably about the size of this entire area, and it could not be accommodated in the area that we were going to build the playground. So the other thing is they took it down 2 years ago, and Kids Around the World did not have the facilities to store the playground, so they kept parts of it and pieces of it and then assembled it with 2 other playgrounds and refurbished it and sent it to Casa Hogar. The cost to the Rotary Club in Westerville, Ohio was $18,000. So they put us together with this wonderful bunch from Westerville, Ohio, and they had asked for a handler. Well, we didn't know what a handler was. Well, a handler was Karsten Smith out of San Diego, who came as a volunteer and worker for Kids Around the World, and he was the person who helped us assemble this entire playground. And there we are with the group, the men from Westerville, Ohio. The wives only worked with us our first day there. So I believe, Roxy, it's your turn.
Well, my part, I get to show you the assembly of the playground. As you saw from the picture, can I have the clicker? You saw all the parts and pieces laying on the ground. And this was like a giant puzzle. And we had photographs of what it was supposed to look like. And then which one do I push to get it to go forward?
The right arrow.
This one? That one, okay.
Slowly.
So the first thing we did is put together those the blue posts, and on Sunday, the day that was the planning day, they basically laid out where these posts were going to go. There's a lot of measuring, so that we have the posts in the right place, so that these platforms will be in the right place. Had to dig holes. Is it? Yes, I found it. Okay. These platforms were one of the first things that joined and helped stabilize the posts. The holes had to be dug, and had to be dug to a certain depth so that the posts were the right height. So there was measuring of how deep they were. There's a lot of physical labor involved in this, so at the end of the day it was pretty tiring.
Who's the supervisor there?
Is Karsten, but the other guy who these people are like, we're kind of unsure here. Will this go together? Will it work? And notice the change in the faces. Yes, it did work, and it went together. So here we're going through a few more of just putting all the pieces together. And while we're doing this, the kids are really curious. There were challenges of keeping them away from all these parts so they didn't get moved or hauled away. And there's Karen Berry. She was really good at interacting with the kids and she's showing them what the playground's going to look like when it's done, because they were very curious. And it was really, occasionally we could have some of the kids do little things to help. And it was, I think, great to have for them seeing male role models working. And me, I have these washers and nuts, and of course these are very important. Just so you know, there were pieces that did not come with the playground, and John and Cheryl, I think, each were on, in addition to some other people, there were several missions to get washers, nuts, and bolts, including this one huge nut that we weren't sure we'd ever find in Manzanillo, and John, our hero, found those for us. You know, we're having breaks. We did have breaks. As you can see from some of the pictures, let's see if this is a good one. Well, these are some of the monkey bars. In the background here, you can see there's a lot of concrete here. The kids, their play area is really just this giant concrete slab. So they can play basketball, and there's some patterns in the concrete where they could play games like Foursquare. But there's really no place to really run and play. There's Cheryl drilling. And of course, here we have John is observing again.
But look at Karen. Look at Karen digging.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is he's given Karen tips on how to dig correctly in this hole. And as you can see, this finally has come together. Ooh. Sorry, go back. It's a very long playground, and there's a lot of things in this playground that for the kids help them with balance, with strength, teamwork. Trying to think. Here are some. This is like a climbing area. There's another area that has a kind of net to climb, and there are 2 big slides. And once this is all done, they came in and put concrete in all the holes that were dug to stabilize it. To get to this point, the last day was basically with levels, tightening it, making sure it didn't move, and threatening the children to not get on it. They provided lunch to us for both days. One of the families of the group of kids that are there, their mother died and their father could not take care of them. So they actually have parents, but live at Castle Hogar, and their grandmother made this special dish for us, which was very delicious. This was also a delicious drink. I forget what it was, but some kind of grapefruit. Okay. The Wednesday morning, this is the ribbon cutting. This is the opening, and as you can see, the kids are like going nutty, waiting for their chance to get on the playground. I think that was him. I'm not sure. That might be Dr. Gieber.
It is.
But he was one of the administrators and one of our great contacts. So there they go. Some of the Rotarians had to show the kids what to do with some of the pieces of equipment, but they were really excited. There's the group again with the kids. And you can see the big concrete slab. One of the things that was really cool was Thursday when Cheryl was there, the kids were all in a line. And they were taking turns, and they would run, and they would have to touch this tree, do something at another tree, something at a third tree, and then do this certain pattern through the playground. And then come back, and this other kid was pretending to time them. So we realized they were playing Ninja Warrior. So they were, so creative what they could figure out to do with the playground. Oh. There, Nancy is presenting Cheryl and John with a certificate of appreciation. One thing about the orphanage is you can kind of see it was really a very cheerful place, very sunny, painted really nice. The kids were all smiling, and you could see they had a lot of freedom, but they were also supervised. Their day was pretty much kind of had a structure to their day of getting ready to school, homework, and then play after school. One of the things the playground did was really incent them to do their homework, because once they were through with their homework, they could go play on the playground. The other thing, when we were down there, we were trying to see what kind of need the orphanage might have for the future. Well, Rick Rano, who is here, he's from Westerville, he basically got to talking to them, discovered they needed washing machines. And so the four of us got our heads together and felt that we could afford one of the washing machines. And Westerville, Ohio bought the other one. So they were delivered while we were there. And they're real unusual washing machines, but we consulted with the lady who does the laundry. And this is the size and type of machine that she wanted for her laundry. And as we talked about last week, our Club Foundation approved, actually last Friday, the foundation approved reimbursing Rick for these washing machines. Well, one of the washing machines. And Cheryl will talk to you a little bit more about Casa Hogar. And in case she doesn't mention it, this young woman is Meredith. And Meredith graduates in June, and she will be going to college in the fall. And Cheryl formed a special bond with Meredith, and I think is going to be her sponsor.
I am.
Be her sponsor.
One of the unique things that we have the opportunity to do is to sponsor a child. And if you don't have anyone that you have in your life that you'd like to sponsor, I would highly encourage you to think about a child at Casa Hogar. I mentioned Arturo and Benjamin. Tom and Nancy Buck have sponsored for the past 10 years. They have sponsored Arturo. I did not know that until last week. And before I left for Manzanillo, I really prayed about the opportunity that might be given to meet a child. And unbeknownst to me, after Sunday worship service, this girl by the name of Meredith came up to me, and she put her arms around me, and she just, this huge bear hug, and for the next 4 days, every single day, she would come up to me and give me this enormous bear hug. And I said, you know, this is the child I need to sponsor. She'll be graduating this year from high school. She goes to high school at night, gets off out of high school at 10 p.m. at night, takes an hour bus ride to come back to the orphanage. They go to school 3 times a day is when you can be enrolled, morning, afternoon, and evening school. And so I'm going to be taking on Meredith, and her goal is to become a veterinarian. These are some of the other children we actually met. In fact, we heard from John several times that he knew that Karen was going to adopt a child. Well, unbeknownst to me, when I went back on Thursday and Friday to work at the orphanage, the others were sick in bed, I took this picture of Aniel. And Aniel, unbeknownst to me, is the one that Karen has decided that she is going to sponsor. But as you can see, this is the concrete area that the children have played on for years. And the Rotary Club from Westerville brought a net, and we put that up so the children could play basketball as well. Behind here, you'll notice that there is a dance platform, and this is where the children, since 2004, have begun to practice and participate in the Ballet Folkloro. And that is where they have embraced with the community 20 children from the Casa Hogar, Los Angelitos, and 20 from the community that are using their talents and their skills to dance. Well, this has been an opportunity for these children to really work through as a therapy through the traumatic experiences that they've had, either being prostituted or being beggars, thieves, rummaging through trash cans, and being beaten by their parents and family members. So they have the opportunity to participate in dancing with this troupe. And we were invited to go downtown Manzanillo the Sunday night we were there, and we got to enjoy a wonderful performance down there. They get them prepared ahead of time doing their hair, and this is one of the dorm mothers that does their hair for the girls, and then they go down and dance, and they danced underneath that huge sailfish on this enormous platform. It was about a 45-minute performance. One of the unique things that Nancy and the Children's Foundation have done is they have decided when the child reaches the age of 18, they don't want these children going back to the street. If you go to a Mexican orphanage, you're kicked out at the age of 11 or 12. This is uniqueness about Casa Hogar, is they continue on through their education through 18 years of age and into college. And we'll be meeting 2 college students here in a minute. But they have also come up with this dance platform where they plan on building dormitories on either side for the students that are 18 years of age, because they have no other place to go when they come home after college. And so their goal is to eventually provide to the Manzanillo community, as well as people getting off the ships, at least 1 or 2 performances during the tourist season where these children can actually perform. The students and these children perform dances from around the world, which enables them to use different muscles in different parts of their body, as well as to learn the geography of those countries, as well as to understand that we all dance a different way. And here they are doing dancing to Greece. And what was the other one? Rock Around the Clock, I think, was the other song that they performed when they went to the United States music. Nancy dragged us off in our shorts, and we were filthy. She says, "You're going to the Rotary Club meeting." And we're just protesting. "No way are we going." She says, "Yes, you are. Get in the car." And she drug us over to this restaurant, and we met with the Rotary Club upstairs. And here they are. There's a huge expat community from America and Canada. And these people stay until about the end of April, then they go home for about 6 months before returning back down to Manzanillo. So we had the opportunity to enjoy the Rotary Club, and it starts out by singing the national anthem for the Mexican national anthem. So we sang, and then we had a delightful presentation made by Andres. And he was also one of the first orphans taken in at Casa Hogar. And he graduated last year from the University of Colima in a degree in international commerce. And his brother, also from the orphanage, Artemio, is also now a student. Each week, these boys come back to the orphanage and live with the boys in the boys' dormitory to try to encourage them to follow through with their studies. Don't leave the orphanage. You will have a better life. The orphanage tries to give the children an opportunity to learn English. They teach them driver's education. They teach them skills that will give them a much better life when they leave the orphanage. And of the original 6 orphans, one of the gals we did not get to meet was Brenda. She just finished dental school, and she's coming back to Manzanillo, and she's going to be opening up a dentist practice. So this is our little group. Any questions you have for any of us?
Was there a swing on that?
Not really. It was 5 different posts over here that they could walk from one moving part to the next. What happens is that kids around the world find out what the age group is and the area the size of the playground area, and they configure the playground equipment to the needs of the children as well as to the size of the area. So this is actually 3 separate playgrounds that were put together by kids around the world and then shipped down there. They shipped down, for example, 12 shovels, 12 pinch bars, and 3 post hole diggers. Only 3 shovels made it, 3 pinch bars made it, and 1 post hole digger. And the post hole digger didn't work because the ground was almost like concrete. Other questions? Kevin, yes, thank you. Kevin is here with the Children's Foundation. We got to hear from him about 2 or 3 months ago. And Kevin's going to share a little bit more about how we can get involved with Casa Hogar.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, and I just want to tell you how rewarding it is for me to come here. I was here in January kind of explaining the project, and until you've been down there, you kind of see a look on people's faces like, oh, that's a neat project. But once you're there and the children impact your life and you see the passion and what's really going on down there, Brenda was a girl that I sponsored, the dentist. It's just been so rewarding. So on behalf of the Children's Foundation, we would like to give you a small token of our appreciation and just thank you so much for coming down. And I have to be honest, until about 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about Rotary. I've been fortunate enough to come to some meetings around here. I was in Canada with the dance troupe, met some Rotary folks there, and to see you guys come together with another Rotary group, I mean, that is what this is about. You know, this is the people in this room and other Rotary groups coming together and impacting the lives of kids. It gives me the chills as I talk about this. So thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me this morning. We are going to have a couple opportunities this summer. We do a golf tournament up in Broomfield, and one of the things we're trying to organize is I've noticed that there's kind of a competitive spirit here within Rotary. So we're going to try to get all the Rotary clubs around to have a team or two, and we're going to have a little trophy made that Rotary clubs can kind of pass around for the golf team that we haven't decided if it does the best or the worst. Maybe it's the worst score. We haven't decided yet. But we'll be in touch. Child sponsorship, I have some forms today. I have 4 copies of Nancy's book. If you want to read an incredible story, Nancy, our founder, for an American woman to own an orphanage in Mexico, that alone, it is a miracle. They tried putting her in jail. She's been through a lot. So I have 4 copies of her book. I would just like a $20 donation. You can have the book, and we'll be in touch on the golf tournament and other ways that you can help. I also have some child sponsorship documents. A lot of people see the facilities and now the play set, and I have to tell you this really quick. I know I only have like 30 seconds, but Dr. Gieber, I was talking to him, and he said the best byproduct of putting in the play set is the kids are playing so hard, they're sleeping better. As a result of that, they're paying better attention in school, and it's also great bribery, he said. You take away the play set, a kid straightens up like that. So the play set is just having a huge impact. Thanks again, and have a great day, everyone.
Right. We survived. Kevin just said he was sorry that we got sick down there. We were sorry we got sick down there. It was a really remarkable experience. As we talked about, Karen has sponsored a child. Cheryl has sponsored a child. There's one young man that I am interested in sponsoring as well. But as we talked about this, as we planned this, we really didn't know initially what we were going to do. We thought we might do a little painting down there. And then as our group got a little bit smaller, we weren't sure. And then when we had the opportunity to join up with the Westerville Club, it really was a blessing. The Westerville Rotarians were just an absolute blast to hang out with. Very, very dedicated, and I think we could work together in the future on additional projects, both at Casa Hogar and potentially around the world. So very, very rewarding experience, and I'm glad we went. And I think at some point we need to do another trip down there, and hopefully we can get more people to go along. So anyway, with that being said, would y'all rise and what? Oh, I forgot about the drawing, Mr. Livingston. Kevin, we're going to use you for a moment.
What are the steps?
Come on up. So we're going to have you pick a ticket out of here, and that's the first step in somebody maybe getting really lucky, and read the last 3 digits on that ticket.
647.
647, Mary Alice. So now she's going to try and find the blue marble and maybe get a little extra money over and above her lunch money. Yes.
So the value is approaching $1,000. So let me just give you a for instance. The last few weeks, the take after our generous lunch donation is running around $90 a week. So this is mounting at a lovely rate.
Right.
How many marbles are left?
A few.
All right.
All right, I saw it. It's in there. I saw it.
30-some. I don't know how many marbles.
And there is a blue one.
Yes.
Yes, she does it.
Clear. One more.
Not that
Clear.
There are two left. Yeah.
So with Barb being in the middle of tax season, we don't know exactly where we're at, but it's around $1,000. So anyway, now could y'all rise and join me in the four-way test? Of all the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Do good and have fun.